literally run right here. So I know I haven't done Music Monday video in a while, and for no particular reason other than just, I don't know, got busy with other stuff. Yeah. Other stuff and things. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, every Monday I try to do this thing every Monday, which I call Music Monday. That's just all I do is I talk about some of my favorite bands I listen to, favorite musicians, groups, and also sometimes, some of them might not be my favorites, but just happen to be bands or groups or musicians whose songs that I happen to listen to a lot. So yeah. So anyways, I wanted to talk about KISS. That's right, KISS, which stands for Knights in Satan's Service. Either that or it stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid, or I don't know, something. But anyways, whatever it stands for, of course, KISS, they're not, I wouldn't say that they're one of my favorite bands, but they've been around for a long time. Obviously, a lot of people know about them. If you haven't heard about them, which I'm pretty sure, I would imagine there's a lot of, younger people that probably never heard of KISS, but they probably might be familiar with Gene Simmons, who was the bass player, because he had a reality show for a while, and then every now and then he tends to act like an ass on social media and other media outlets. And but anyways, mostly I wanted to talk about it because my very first rock concert ever was a KISS concert, and I want to say I was still a freshman in high school, and they had one of their farewell tours. I mean, I don't know if it was their first farewell tour or second or third or fourth, but this was sometime in 99 or early 2000. It might have been the summer of 2000, I think. But the tour started sometime in 99, so and they played in this arena which was in Las Cruces, New Mexico, which I live in El Paso, Texas, and back then at that time I still did. So I mean, Las Cruces from El Paso, it's about a 2-hour drive, maybe 2.5-hour drive. If you factor in the fact that all of the rest stops you make, and because we're all human, we all gotta go to the bathroom, and we all gotta eat every now and then. So, but so my dad purchased the tickets, which was really cool of him, because the concert was on a Wednesday or Thursday, so it was on a school night. And then to top it off, the next day, I had a bunch of tests to take in all my classes, and kind of like finals, but the high school version of finals. So, it was really awesome. And so we went to the concert. There was 2 opening acts. We didn't catch the first act, but the second opening act was Ted Nugent. And if you don't know who Ted Nugent is, he's definitely an awesome musician, but he's another one of those guys where he can be an ass too. He's got his own politics that he adheres to and whatnot. And, but the guy's an awesome musician. I mean, I remember when me and my dad got there to the concert, he had already started playing, and he was really great, really awesome, really loud too. I mean, we weren't even sitting anywhere near the stage, but yeah, it was, his overall guitar sound was verging on, deafening. Like, yeah, I mean, I can only imagine the people who were sitting really close to the speakers, they probably went deaf, for a good while at least. So, but yeah, he was awesome. I mean, Ted Nugent, it was just him and then a drummer and a bass player. And the drummer and bass player, unfortunately I don't remember their names, but they were really awesome too. They were really on point. Like, they kept the beat going. Especially when during several songs Ted Nugent would go off into these extended guitar solos. And so, yeah, the bass player and drummer, they kept the beat going, kept the rhythm going, and they never lost a step at all. So, yeah. And then towards the end, Ted Nugent, and then also, too, of course, Ted Nugent, he pissed off some people because at one point, like, in between songs, he shouted pretty loud. Even though he was wearing like one of those headset microphone things, he was still shouting. I guess that's part of his shtick or thing. And at one point he shouted something like, if you don't speak English, then get the fuck out of America. And, which, like I said, the guy can be an ass, but I don't know if that's just part of his, the thing he does when he performs, but I think, no, he's actually like that in real life, like away from the stage. And so, and then he finished his set by, he donned this headdress type thing and then got out a bow and arrow and suspended his guitar from some kind of wires and then shot the arrow through his guitar. And it shot out these sparks. Which I'm pretty sure he had the guitar rigged so that it would shoot out these sparks. And then it like gave off this loud feedback, kind of like wailing kind of sound. And then Ted Nugent pretended to he got down on his knees and he pretended to cry. And that was it. And he walked off stage. And then I want to say maybe about 5 minutes after that, then Kiss finally took the stage. They came down in these rafters, which kind of remind me of cherry picker kind of thing, but really long, some kind of platform. They were on some platform and they came down and onto the stage, and they were all right too. I mean, Kiss, they gave, I would say, a decent performance. I wouldn't say it was one of their best. I mean, I'm just basing it off a lot of live footage I've seen of them, back when they first started. And I mean, obviously, yeah, when they first started, they were younger, had a little more energy, and but at that time, when me and my dad saw them, Paul Stanley was the singer, Gene Simmons, who was the bass player. They were the only two original members of Kiss at that time. They had another guy filling in for the lead guitar player, Ace Frehley. So it was another guy, and then another guy filling in for the drummer, Peter Criss, I believe is his name. So yeah, which, by the way, the drummer kind of sounded off a little bit. I mean, not so much that you could notice it in every song, but still off somewhat. Same thing with, pretty much, I mean, I will say that Paul Stanley, he was right on with his vocals. He hit pretty much every note, and I was kind of surprised because, I mean, back then at that time, I didn't know Paul Stanley could actually hit really high notes. So I think he still can. So, I mean, he's always been pretty cool. I mean, pretty awesome singer as far as, rock singers go. And yeah, and then of course, eventually Gene Simmons did his fire breathing thing that he does and throws down a sword or whatever and spits out fake blood, and more towards the end of the show. But me and my dad, we didn't stick around because they were going to do an encore. Because it was already midnight, and that was another thing too. I think because I'm pretty sure like Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, but Paul Stanley mentioned, he was kind of pissed off at Ted Nugent because Ted Nugent was only supposed to play for like 35 or 40 minutes, and he ended up playing for over an hour. So it cut into, the time that Kiss had planned out, for their performance. And so, yeah, I guess the concert, I think it probably didn't end till like beyond 1:30 in the morning or something. But, yeah, me and my dad, we didn't stick around that long. We left after they played the last song, and then just before they were about to do an encore. So, I mean, because unfortunately we had to go, and, like I said, it was a school night for me. It was already midnight, and so, I mean, back then, my dad was always, he always made sure that me and my sister, got to school on time, and that we always, attended school as much as possible. Which looking back on it now, I realize is great. It was awesome. I mean, that's awesome parenting. But at the same time, he allowed us to go to concerts and hang out with friends. Every now and then, not like every single night, but every now and then. Especially on the weekends too. When there was no school. I don't know. I guess mostly I bring that up because, like, for me, I mean, I've noticed nowadays, like, I don't know, I kind of feel like today's kids seem to, like, care a little, like, way more about, way more about hanging out with their friends, or, I don't know, I'm just basing it off what I've seen with my teenage niece and nephew, and but then I guess most teenagers are like that anyway, so, but yeah, I don't want to go off on a tangent there. I mean, so as, overall it was a pretty good show, pretty awesome concert. And I remember my dad got me one of the concert t-shirts. It had like a picture of the members on the front, and, the show dates on the back, and I wore it to school the next day. And then some of my friends, of course, they made fun of me. They were like, dude, you actually went to the Kiss concert. That's lame. And I was like, oh, hey, you didn't go. I went. It's, it's no skin off your nose. And to which they replied, what? And but, it was an awesome experience for me. And eventually, I moved on to caring more about other bands like Metallica, Pantera, Iron Maiden, Tool, Disturbed, Godsmack, Slayer. As far as like songs go, my favorite songs by Kiss, like, I've liked that one song, Shout Out Loud, Detroit Rock City. They got another one, something along the lines of God Gave Rock and Roll to You. I'm not sure if that's the exact title, but that's the chorus. God Gave Rock and Roll to You. So, I mean, and I've never really listened to Kiss album like all the way through, but I mean, I have heard like maybe like a 10 or 12 of their songs, like, within my lifetime. So I mean, yeah, and ultimately, like, I remember, like, way before I even started playing guitar, and every time I would listen to a Kiss song, it made me interested in the guitar. So I mean, Kiss was one of those bands. Well, they were never one of my favorites, but they definitely kind of like helped turn me more towards being interested in picking up the guitar, and then ultimately, once I got into Metallica, that's when I got really inspired to really dedicate a lot more time to learning everything I could about the guitar and music theory, music composition, and all that. So, yeah, I mean, I got I gotta acknowledge at least that. So, and even though I know, a lot of people still like to rag on Kiss, and there is a pretty cool movie called Detroit Rock City, and the actual members of Kiss are in that. I don't know if all the original guys, but Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons are definitely in it. I think the drummer is too, Peter Criss. I think Ace Frehley might be. I don't know. I think it might be all the original guys, because they show them in the movie, but only towards the end. The movie is just about this group of teenagers. They have their own Kiss cover band, and they do everything they can to get tickets to go see Kiss perform in Detroit, and they encounter all these obstacles along the way. It's pretty funny. It takes place sometime in the 70s, I believe. So, yeah, that's an awesome movie. I definitely got to rewatch that. I haven't seen it in a really long time, so possibly review it too. So, yeah, I mean, that pretty much does it. I mean, let me know if you like Kiss, if you don't like Kiss. What are some of your favorite songs? If you think there's a particular Kiss album I might like, so maybe if I like it enough, I'll review it here on my channel. And that's another thing I do, is album reviews. Haven't done one in a long time. I'm working on that. I feel like I might have mentioned that several times, but yeah, so that pretty much does it. I'll provide links to, different Kiss songs, and then possibly some of their live performances, so you can check them out, just if you're not that familiar with them. So yeah, that pretty much does it for this Music Monday. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and as always, till next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.